Can I just tell you how much I hate the winter? The day gets so incredibly short and, well, it's cold. For example, it is 30 degrees out tonight. So why am I riding around in the middle of the night like a crazy person? Which you might have known if you saw the promo from last week, that I'm finally ready to answer some of the questions I keep getting on my channel, which is, where is your Ninebot Z10 and why is it that you don't rename your channel to, I don't know, the Godway Monster Vlog, since that seemed to be all you ride? Well, it was getting fixed. Took a lot longer than I expected. As to the naming, well, I think I have a particular fascination with the Ninebot Z10, not just because I love and enjoy riding my own wheel, but also because in many ways I think its fate runs parallel to that of the electric unicycle and the unique place it finds itself in, which I think we all agree are completely transformative and revolutionary device, but yet nobody knows about it. Every superhero needs an origin story. And now that I'm finally back riding the Ninebot Z10, it's time for us to talk about the origin story of the Z10. The story of the electric unicycle that even Jason from Ewheel have come to refer to as the Lazarus. Why I think this could have been the wheel that finally pushed the electric unicycle into the mainstream, and why it failed. A tale of love, betrayal, and perhaps redemption? I hope you're ready. Roll the intro. Baby, you're the one for me. Baby, you were meant for me. I'm madly in love with you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of new episodes. And stick around till the end for a preview of the next episode. I'm madly in love with you. Now, if you have watched any of my prior video, then you know that I had always loved and enjoyed riding my Z10. That is, until it quit on me about 4 months ago. But there is a little bit more than that simple description would suggest. But to fully tell that story, we have to go back to where it all started. I was born in Taiwan. No, that's way too far back. So my love affair with the electric unicycle started in the spring of 2018. It was love at first sight. Literally, I was just sitting right here having lunch and some dude just shot past me riding an electric unicycle. He went by so fast I barely had the chance to register what the thing was. But immediately I knew that this was the thing I need right away. It took some googling just to figure out what the strange contraption is called, and of course, months of obsessive research on the EUC forum followed, and that is when I first heard about it. You see, I came in right as the hype for the Z10 started to intensify at the start of 2018. Ninebot, whom everyone thought had quit on the electric unicycle market altogether, not only returned, but showed up a prototype that was unlike anything else available. The most controversial feature was, of course, this. A massive 4-inch wide tire that was almost twice as wide as anything that was available on the market at the time. Speculation on how it rode was rampant as the anticipation built towards its formal release. And you must understand, as any electric unicycle enthusiast would know, that the size, profile, and consistency of the tire lies at the very core of the riding experience. And for a significant manufacturer like Ninebot to be willing to take such a significant departure from the conventional wisdom of tire selection, it felt like some sort of prelude to the next evolution of electric unicycle. For a glimpse of what it was like at the time, upon the release of a fresh Z10 video, Rehab1, one of the top commenter and a moderator to the EUC forum, posts the following. I cannot display enough emotion about how I feel right now watching that video. Hopefully May holds true for the US release date. May did not hold. As a matter of fact, the first batch of 50 wheels did not arrive till late August, and since I did not put in my pre-order till the middle of July, yes, that's right, I was swept up by the excitement like everyone else. I was not deep enough on the list to get in on batch 1. Mind you, this was a $2,000 wheel that we're all committing our cash to on nothing except for a few photographs and some internet videos. And it wasn't until October that news of batch 2 finally came after much delay. Unfortunately, right at the end of prime riding season. And so you understand why at that point I was more than happy to put up $200 in air freight charge in order to have the wheel 3 weeks earlier. And yes, desperation has completely gone to my head at that point. Right from the start, the Z10 was different. Not only was it made by a company that regular people actually heard of, it also had the fit and finishes of a real product rather than something that appeared coupled together or hobbyist grade. There was a polished looking product page with professional looking photograph and actual UL safety certifications and promise of warranty and after sale support. Or maybe it was the attractive design. Whatever the case, Z10 not only excited those in the community but also attracted people peripherally interested in EUCs. But hints of the many problems that would follow this wheel also were brewing. Ninebot had never been known to be communicative with their customer base, which was part of the reason why they were always active speculation that they were simply getting out of the electric unicycle market altogether. And unfortunately, even with the introduction of a new model, few explanations were provided on the continual delay of the Z10. Behind the scene, things were also going off rails. Ewheel, the sole supplier for the Z10 in the US at the time, was encountering a surprisingly high failure rate. For all the wheels that had been delivered so far, a full 10% of the wheel that was delivered did not work right out of the box. The problem was made worse by the short supply of spare parts and again the lack of responses from Ninebot. For reasons never explained, Ninebot was reluctant to sell the Z10 in the US. And as a result, they were anything but helpful when it comes to the plight of their US customers. I rode and enjoyed my Z10 trouble-free through the winter of 2018, but the responses from the other EUC riders who had a working copy were less favorable. The Z10 is a true revolution in electric unicycle dynamic. The wide and very stiff tubeless tire combined with a recessed mounted battery pack meant that it rode dramatically different than any other wheel on the market. It has a tendency to stay perpendicular to the road surface, which meant that it is harder to lean to a turn and wobble over uneven surfaces. But unlike a traditional thinner tire and more top-heavy wheel, where wobbles tend to self-propagate and cause crashes, with a lower and more center weight distribution, the Z10 usually self-corrects. But many experienced riders never gotten over these idiosyncrasies. And 7 months in, catastrophe. My own Z10 also stopped working. And after several failed attempts to fix it on my own, I had no choice but to send it back to Ewheel for repair. On top of that, I have to source a replacement motor on my own from a Chinese dealer, since at that point, Ninebot had altogether stopped providing any spare parts to Jason's altogether. The motor was replaced, yet it did not revive the wheel, as there were additional battery problem that was discovered. So it was back for additional rounds of diagnostic and more repairs. And I wasn't the only one that was experiencing these issues. And by this point, the opinions online had mostly turned against the Z10. So, what happened? In the book, The Tipping Point, the author Malcolm Gladwell made the observation that 3 components are required for the viral spread of an idea, what he called a social epidemic. 1. The power of context. In the case of the Z10, it came in a year where we saw an explosive growth of interest in personal electric transport, including the EUCs. So the timing was right. 2. The stickiness factor. I think the Z10 also succeeded here in that its design not only conveyed a sense of quality, but that of performances, and more importantly, excitement. This was a wheel that looked like how Gotway wheels performed. But the third factor, the law of the few, is where I think the Z10 and Ninebot to a certain extent has stumbled. In his writing, Gladwell attributed the spread of the social epidemic to a small cadre of hardcore enthusiasts who act as the initial catalyst for the spread. And when it comes to the Z10, the 100 people that pre-order from Ewheel was basically it. Their willingness to put up their hard-earned money on a product that they know very little about just about certify that they are the hardcore of the hardcore amongst the EUC riders. And when these influencers failed to receive the kind of support that they were hoping to get from Ninebot, that essentially doomed the reputation of not just the wheel, but Ninebot in the electric unicycle community here in the US. I did finally get my Z10 back in working order, about a year after I first got on the wheel, so it lives, but to somewhat of a different reception. Gone were the awe and excitement, and it's more like, oh, that thing is still working? You should get rid of it. So is it truly over for the Z10? Well, the truth is, did you realize that even after all the bad presses and reviews, the Ninebot Z10 remained the most popular electric unicycle by Google Trend here in the US for 2019, even though that at no point was it ever available for purchase from an official source. And that is what I find most interesting about the Ninebot Z10. It's not just this thing, the way it's designed, performances, or even all of its problems. But more so, I'm fascinated by its ability to speak to those things that we really care about. And I'm sure it's a little bit different depending on who you ask. Excitement, convenience, and the opportunity to be in more places for those people who are just getting into the electric unicycle. Legitimacies, better build quality, and of course, the potential advancement on what the platform is capable of for those of us who have been following, more like obsessing over the electric unicycle for years. To the Ninebot team that built this wheel, it was truly something special. And I sincerely hope that I was wrong in claiming that this was going to be the last Ninebot electric unicycle to be built. And despite the sense of betrayal, the enthusiasts know of the risk with living on that thin sharp point of the bleeding edge. And if someone else were to come along and promise us something extraordinary again, I'm not sure if I could take it. Look at the time. If you made it all the way to the end, it's a record. I managed to waste 15 minutes of your life. Say you're sorry. I'm sorry. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and do me a favor and help spread the word. Until the next video, thank you. Next week, something completely different. It's not an electric unicycle nor an electric skateboard, and I'm going to tell you why you should care.